Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you another StarCraft commentary. And I know it's been about a month since I've actually gotten around to doing a commentary, and I apologize for that. I've been kind of busy, and still, I did a couple of those live casting things, and just, haven't found enough games to cast, or I'll watch them and not cast them instead, which I'm sure doesn't appeal to you, but unfortunately sometimes I just want to watch games, sometimes that happens. But this is going to be more Jangbi coverage because he has advanced into the quarterfinals of the OSL. He came out of his group. He was down 0-2 in his group of 4. It was him, Killer, Calm, and Baby, and he was 0-2. Calm and Baby were 1-1, and Killer was 2-0. Killer came out with a win against Calm, and then Jangbi beat Baby, which left 3 players tied at 1-2, and then he came out ahead in the tiebreaker, swept actually just in 2 games, just took 2 games to beat Calm and Baby, and survived to advance into this stage, the quarterfinals, where unfortunately he got drawn to play Flash, which is going to be a very, very difficult matchup for anyone, and as Flash is just absolutely ridiculous. I think he's over 70% in every matchup. It's just Flash. He's absolutely insane. But if there was going to be an opportunity for Jangbi to have a good start against Flash, I would say this is a good opportunity for him. This is going to be the first map is New Bloody Ridge, which I think actually should give Jangbi a good chance at playing Flash, because he can it's a big map with a lot of different pathways. Well, it's not that big, but there are a lot of different pathways right down the middle, and then there's the 2 branching south and north paths that you can take, which is kind of cool, and gives Jangbi some different pathing abilities to go take different expansions and hit Flash from different angles, which should be good for him in PvT. And Flash, it looks like, has actually gone for barracks before supply depot, so it looks like that's at forward 8 racks, and that is very, very interesting in and of itself. Jangbi has struggled in the past against cheeses, is definitely something he struggles with, and if you stress his multitask, if you hit him at multiple places, a lot of strong vulture play, drop ships, those kinds of things can get to Jangbi. In the past, he has struggled against it. So it's interesting to see Flash actually go for a very, very early cheese. Actually, I think that is an 8 rags. Well, no, actually, maybe not. No, I think he did actually put the supply depot down first. But nonetheless, it is a very early racks at a forward position. And Jangbi coming in here with a scout after Cybernetics core, it looks like. So he's not even going to know that racks is in a forward position. He's going to go right into Flash's base, maybe? Yeah, he is. He's going to go right into Flash's base and see what's going on there. He's going to see the refinery, and then he's going to realize that there is a forward racks. But Jangbi should be in decent shape here. He's already got a Cybernetics core spinning, so he is getting Dragoon range, should have a Dragoon building right now, and the first Marine is out and actually going back home to destroy this probe, getting the scout on. So this isn't going to be a really early pressure build. Like I originally thought. I did not catch that supply depot. That was totally my bad. But I thought that this was going to be like an 8 racks, basically just a super cheese to try and take Jangbi out quick and early. But that is not the case. He is getting his factory first, so he's not doing that 1 racks into CC that is very, very popular. Jangbi does have pretty solid Reaver play, and and shuttle play in general. He used shuttle and DTs against Baby, and I think that's some errors on Baby's part, not positioning turrets properly, that sort of thing, and not really handling the DT drops as well as he could have, which led to those DTs and that shuttle just doing so much damage to Baby, and basically giving Jangbi a huge lead that he was able to carry into a victory. And but on that same note, it's Jangbi's shuttle and his Reavers and things like that that can definitely punish a Terran player for going for 1 rack straight into CC. We've seen many 1 racks into CC builds actually get destroyed by quality Reaver play, and that's definitely something that Flash apparently did not want to risk, thinking that he's the better player. As much as it pains me to say that, obviously, despite Jangbi's resurgence, despite how well he's playing right now, Flash is definitely the superior player. There's no one in the world that you can favor against Flash. So Flash going to play a little bit more carefully here. He does get his first factory completed and throws down his command center, and Jangbi already with his Nexus going down, it's actually almost completed, so his second base will be up quite a bit earlier than Flash's. But Flash does get an SCV into Jangbi's base, is going to get a nice scout on here, seeing the 2 gateways and seeing that there really isn't any tech out, not even a robotics facility, no DTs coming his way, nothing like that at the moment. So he's got a good idea that he can actually, if Flash, seeing the lack of tech, he can actually skimp out on getting turrets, not having to worry about DTs, not having to worry about Shuttle Reaver, unless he suspects a proxy or something like that, which I don't think he is. But he can skip out on that engineering bay. He can even delay his scans, things like that, and maybe even go throw down a factory a little bit earlier, just try and get his economy and his military macro going a little bit more hardcore after kind of scouting that out. We do have the second factory coming up here for Flash at the moment. He did get Vulture mines first, so we see a few mines being placed around. So that'll stop. What that will do, that'll stop marauding Dragoons. You can see how he puts one right in the middle of the map, one on that northern branch on those ridges, and one on the southern ridges. So that's really good by Flash, and that makes it very difficult for Jangbi to just go out with his Dragoons, wander around, try and put pressure on different spots. It's something that Jangbi has to watch out for. Where he's going to run into one mine, and then he's going to worry about more mines being around. So some psychological warfare being played by Flash, which is very, very nice. We did see Flash getting up to 3 factories and Jangbi getting up to 4 gateways now, and he does have that robotics facility up and the observatory just completed, so he's going to get an obs out and then probably try and push out with his first Dragoons here, trying to make some space for himself, since right now he basically has no vision of the map and he's kind of sitting right outside of his natural expansion. I think he either knows or he suspects that mines are out on the field, so he doesn't want to risk losing any Dragoons, which is probably the proper play here, but that does mean that he's kind of ceded map control, and we can see Flash kind of taking advantage of that right now, pushing across the northern set of ramps and bridges to maybe try and put on some pressure here. We have 3 tanks out from Flash, as well as a bunch of Marines and 1 or 2 Vultures, as well as an SCV coming along. So he is going to be looking to put on a little bit of pressure here. Yeah, that is 2 Vultures. It looks like 5 Marines, 3 tanks, and an SCV right now. First obs is out, going into the middle of the map. Jangbi going out with 3 Dragoons, going to go and do some mine clearing. And Flash, seeing those 3 Dragoons out, looking to actually put on some pressure here, and Jangbi looking to take a 3rd base, which could actually, if he puts this down right before the push comes, could actually end up being devastating for him if he's not able to macro properly. It looks like he does see the push coming, and 1 Dragoon going to get caught. A 2nd Dragoon looks like he's going to get caught mismicro there, so Jangbi in a little bit of trouble here. Vulture streaming into his natural expansion, placing down mines. Jangbi needs to micro this properly to get rid of all the mines. He gets rid of 1. A 2nd mine does go off, picking off some of the Vultures as well as doing a lot of damage here, but the Dragoons coming in from behind that were mine clearing, and Jangbi just trying to stay alive right now, trying to get a couple more rounds of units. Probably needs to get some more Zealots out. He does have that shuttle that's helping him out a lot right now, dropping in some Zealots that were able to clear out some mines, and these Dragoons coming in from behind looking to try and take down a tank or 2. There goes 1 tank, and some more Dragoons coming out from the front. The newest batch has been created, and a 2nd tank goes down. The 3rd tank goes down, so it looks like Jangbi is going to hold as long as none of these mines go off, and it does not look like they are going to. So Jangbi going to hold, and it's going to take a massive lead in this game. Jangbi is going to take a massive lead right now in fantastic position, holding off Flash's initial 3-tank push. Flash is down to 0 tanks, maybe 1 tank right now. So Jangbi in fantastic position, putting on a robotic support bay, can go, and already has that, actually, yeah, he still has that shuttle. That shuttle survives. Those Marines not able to take down that shuttle is actually huge. That is actually an incredibly key component to this game right now. Flash looks like he's going to throw down a 3rd command center, which is ballsy as hell for Flash to do that at that moment. He's going to depend upon these Vultures to try and keep the pressure on Jangbi and force him to stay at home. But with that shuttle alive, Jangbi can produce a Reaver and then just go straight into Flash's base. And I don't think Flash even has any turrets right now. So Flash could be in huge trouble here if Jangbi decides to get really aggressive here with 2 bases if he can power. I think he needs to start trying to push out right now. His observer, unfortunately, is inside of Flash's base, so he's not able to use it to clear at the moment, which is definitely a little bit of a problem here. And a couple Dragoons being dropped on this ramp. Jangbi really wants to take his 3rd base, and he's going to try and use these Dragoons to hold off the Vultures, but the Vultures placing down some mines. He's going to have to back off. Looks like another observer has been produced, and now he's just going to be able to use Dragoons in the normal fashion to try and get his 3rd base here. But I really think Jangbi has an opportunity right now. There there's the first Reaver. Now that he has that Reaver, a couple Zealots in there, still don't even see an engineering bay, much less any turrets. No Goliaths, no anti-air of any form here. JB has a huge opportunity here. He has an observer. He had that observer in Flash's base. He knows that that opening does exist, and he's moving out with his shuttle right now, presumably with 2 Zealots and a Reaver in it. We do have the first Goliath out, but that shuttle has a huge opportunity here to do a ton of damage. I think Jamie should actually try and support this with more Dragoons as well if there is an opening, but it looks like he's going to try and use them more defensively because of these the presence of this possible Vulture harass. He's got somewhat of a blocking going on with his pylons as well, and this first Reaver Scarab going to dud. The second one does some damage to a siege tank as well as kills 1 SCV right now. Flash has managed to macro up a few more tanks, so they're going to try and follow these Reavers, this Reaver and Zealot around. Another Reaver Scarab doing some damage to the Goliaths, nothing huge or critical going on right now. Flash is taking his third base right now. Jamie, I believe he's thrown down the Nexus at his third base, but it hasn't completed yet. So Flash actually going to start mining from that third base a little bit earlier than Flash. And Jamie actually got Speed Shuttle as well, so he's really committed to this right now. And a bunch of mines going off, going to take down 3 of Jamie's Dragoons. So some poor Observer Dragoon Micro. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, a poor Observer Dragoon Micro going on there. As he loses several Dragoons there. But it looks like I believe that that Jamie's opening there when Flash basically had no tanks or 1 tank to push out, unfortunately, has closed. Flash able to put on just enough pressure with those Vultures to keep Jamie at home, and Jamie not able to use enough observers properly to punish Flash for that early failed attack. We do have speed observers as well, so speed ob, speed shuttle, a very weird build going on here from Jamie. Generally in low level play you often do see speed observers relatively early on, just because it's hard to have the multitask to pace your Dragoons with those observers, but generally at the pro level players have a pretty good understanding of how to do that, and don't need to get it so early, but Jamie wants it now, wants it very, very quickly. And Jamie coming out with 2 shuttles is going to go try and drop in on Flash's base. Needs to be careful. Where's his observers? I think he should go into the base first and check this out. But he's going to run right into Flash's army and is going to drop off 3 Zealots, 4 Zealots, a couple of Reavers here. So how's the Micro going to go here? That's going to determine who comes out ahead in this battle. One of the tanks does go down, and now both Reavers getting picked up, and Jamie going to try and keep up the pressure and needs to keep these Zealots alive as long as he can, so that way the Reavers can do damage. Jamie's Reavers now going to have to back off as they start coming into range of some of the siege tanks. But Jamie, once again, with an opportunity there. Now that Flash's army is all at home, he could use his Dragoons to try and harass the third base, something like that. But it just doesn't look like Jamie's multitask is up to par right now. I feel like there have been opportunities here a couple of times where he could make Flash pay for army placement for losing certain troops. And unfortunately, it looks like Jamie has not been able to take advantage, and has allowed Flash to macro up a pretty sizable force right now. And Jamie looking to maybe try and attack this third base, doesn't even know it's there. And a missile turret is going to catch that shuttle. Is the shuttle going to die? No, it's going to survive with about 21 HP, so it would have been able to take 1 more hit before being killed. 4 gateways, 7 gateways now for Jamie. We saw the Templar Archive, so we should be seeing some Arbiter tech coming out very, very shortly. Could be Storm in shuttles. Storm drops would be very, very cool. There's a DT. There is some missile turrets now being placed around, and there's a bunch of missile turrets being placed around. Flash kind of sick of this shuttle blade. So he's placing some turrets around. He does have a science facility as well, so he should be in pretty decent shape to take care of DTs. I'm not a huge fan of that play, actually, just because once you get to this stage of the game, I mean, DTs they usually just don't really work very well. It's very rare to see DTs work at this stage against a Terran player, just because they have so many command centers, scans, some science vessels soon, turrets, and he had that observer inside of Flash's base, so Flash actually did hide the fact that he had a science vessel going down at this third base. All of the science facility tech went out that third base, so that was actually pretty good by Flash hiding that a little bit. I think he suspected that Jamie had an observer inside of his base. We have a couple Stargates coming up in here for Jangbi, which is kind of odd. Usually when you see 2 Stargates, that means carriers, but we do already have the Templar Archive, so we should be seeing Arbiter Tribunal as soon as the Stargate's complete, and he might just be building up a decent amount of gas here and wants to go to Stargate Arbiters, which will give him quite a bit of stasis as well as recall. As Flash continues to sit on 3 bases, and Jangbi is allowed to continuously expand. Jangbi has taken the top left base for his 4th and is looking to take the 6 o'clock base for his 5th base. Jangbi could go for some recalls and try to damage Flash that way. And it looks like a mine just went off and picked up a bunch of his own vultures for Flash. So Jangbi getting a little bit of a mini win right there. Seems that we've got a little bit of a lull in the excitement going on, as both players just kind of macroing up. And if you look at the bottom right, you can see the time as well as the 2 players' mineral, gas, and supply count. On the left side is going to be Jangbi, and on the right side is going to be Flash. You can just correspond that to the top of your map, to the top screen, and the bottom right. Just take the names, and you can kind of figure out how that is going on. We have a bunch of cannons here at the top left and a lot of vultures coming in as well. Is Flash going to go for it? There are 4 cannons which will destroy vultures pretty quickly, but he is going to go for it and try and pick off as many probes as he can, and it looks like he's maybe picked off 6 or 7, but I think he lost about 7 or 8 vultures. I actually think that plays into Jangbi's hands a little bit there. Flash does do some economic damage, but Jangbi killing off all of those vultures very, very easily is going to be nice for him. Flash has backed up by a ton of tanks right now, and we're looking at Flash's first-person point of view as he lays down some mines to try and protect these tanks, and just continues to back it off the 3 bases. As he's looking, I love it. He's looking for a place to put down a turret, and what does he have to do? He has to blow up one of his own mines in order to create a spot for his missile turrets. And there you saw him scan, and Jangbi going for carrier tech. I don't know about this one. I don't know about going carriers against. Generally, carriers against Flash is a bad idea. First of all, Flash has probably the best Goliath micro in the game. His Goliath micro is spot on and very, very impressive. And his versus carrier play is fantastic as well. And he's already scanned it, so now he knows it's coming. But Jangbi, with that early lead after defending against Flash's push, I really feel that he should have just gone Arbiters. Even off of 2 Stargates, he's gone 2 Stargate Arbiters and really just took it to Flash with recall in particular, as Flash is sitting on these 3 bases and he's getting up to 5. I think that recall and continuous expand and using all of his gateways to macro would have been really, really nice. Here comes a shuttle with 1, 2 Reavers, and Flash actually sees this. Look at the multitask of Flash up to the task of getting his SCVs out, and both those Reavers are going to die and are not going to do much of anything. So Flash, very, very impressive there. Jangbi was putting on a little bit of pressure there in the south, but Flash did not care in the least, and was able to pull off all of his SCVs. That could have been absolutely devastating if he hadn't been paying proper attention there. And Flash now going towards the top left, going to try and be the aggressor now that he knows that Jangbi has invested significant numbers of minerals and gas and psi count, which is very, very important, into those carriers, and the carriers are not effective enough yet to be revealed. He's going to take this opportunity to try and punish Jangbi and take down this top left base, which could very, very well happen. And Jangbi's got to make a decision here. I hope that shuttle has 4 Stormers in it, and that's why those High Templar are sitting at home. But Jangbi really needs to make a decision here. Does he want to try and commit to a fight here before that base goes down and try and save it without carriers, or does he want to just sacrifice it and consider his 6 o'clock base as his 4th base and wait for his carrier tech? Is he willing to engage? It's a very, very important tactical decision that Jangbi has to make right now. And Jangbi, with those High Templars still sitting back, still not bringing them up. And it looks like Jangbi coming in here for a little bit of a aggression here, trying to fight this off. And a couple good storms, actually several good storms going down here. But Flash, look at that, he's got like 15, 20 tanks. Jangbi can't afford to engage here, and Jangbi loses a bunch of his army. But yeah, it looks like he's down to about 115 psi, and Flash down to 140. So Jangbi taking the more of the pain in that engagement, but he does have a lot of money. He can remacro up pretty effectively here. He should have 7 gateways. He should probably be up to more around 12 to 15 right now off of 5 bases. And here comes Jangbi again. All of his High Templar do get EMP'd. A few decent EMPs came earlier, just getting 1 or 2 High Templar, but that was a fantastic EMP, getting 4 of Jangbi's High Templar. So this is getting very, very concerning for Jangbi. You did see his not first person view, you saw his face view, and you just looked at his face and you could tell that there was definitely some concern on his in his eyes and on his face. He's got to be very, very careful right now. He is revealing the carriers. Flash knew that they were there, but he is now using those carriers, trying to pick off some tanks. He just doesn't have the interceptor count yet, and Flash putting on some hardcore pressure right now, looking to finish Jangbi off. Where's the rest of Jangbi? I believe he still had some Dragoons and things, and now one of his carriers actually needs to drop back. Yeah, he does drop it off, but he needs to be very careful. He needs to pick off tanks, can't afford to pick off the Goliaths. He just, Flash has too much money to really be worth taking off the Goliaths, but it looks like he is still focusing on the Goliaths. I think he needs to take down tanks and try and open up a avenue for his ground forces to get involved, because he does have the money, does still have the forces and the gateways in order to supply a ground army. I think he just needs to keep trying to pick off tanks, but unfortunately he's just continues to pick up these Goliath numbers, and the Goliath numbers keep growing and growing, and these carriers are becoming less and less effective. Hasn't been able to build up the interceptor count to really do a lot here, and down to 113 psi. Jangbi is losing steam here very, very quickly, and Flash coming here with some reinforcements that Jangbi is going to try and cut off, and does successfully isolate this force of tanks and Goliath. Unfortunately for him, Flash has taken down that 9 o'clock base. I believe the top left has gone down as well, so Jangbi just sitting at the 6 o'clock base, and I don't think that that's very well saturated at all, so he's in huge trouble right now. Flash has totally turned this game around. I think Jangbi just going for carriers has totally destroyed him. He does have 6 or 7 carriers right now, which is fantastic, but he doesn't have the money to support them. He needs to cancel whatever carriers he's got left building inside those Stargates. He needs to cancel them. He needs that money to produce interceptors right now. I don't know if he can do it even then, but he does still have some minerals at his main, still has some at his natural that he can long distance mine. But he is in huge trouble right now, Jangbi, and that 6 o'clock base is going. He needs to try and just build up a mineral count that he can use his carriers as well as he can. Another good EMP coming off by Flash. Flash is just absolutely on top of his game right now, EMPing all of these High Templar. Some good storms coming in here from Jangbi. Does he have any more in there? There are a lot of clumped up tanks. Did get a few good storms. There's another one picking off a few more tanks. But these are not. This is not Jangbi versus Nada. If this was Jangbi versus Nada, and you saw those epic storms that could have finished Flash off with how much clumping he actually had there. Unfortunately, this is not that game, and Jangbi not having enough storm inside of shuttles in order to escape the EMP and get at those tanks. So Jangbi's continuing to micro with his carriers, going for those Goliaths once again. Still going for those Goliaths, trying to keep the Goliath count low, and trying to open it up so that way his carriers later on can just destroy all these tanks. And now finally he's going to start picking at the tanks. Hopefully this isn't too late. Hopefully he can pick out a lot of them. He is taking them down one by one, and a lot of the tanks are going down, and hopefully Jangbi can keep this up. He needs to keep that Nexus alive, needs to keep mining here so they can continue to produce interceptors, because he's basically out of money, and I think Flash knows it as well. I think Flash has to know that Jangbi is very, very low on money right now, and Jangbi just needs to try and buy time to produce interceptors, needs to buy time, and he's running out of interceptors. You can see that count getting smaller and smaller and smaller right now, and Jangbi with a lot of carriers. I think he might have just as many interceptors as he does carriers. Obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit there, but still, he is very, very low on interceptor count, very, very low on probe count at the 6 o'clock base, and it looks like it's about to fall. There it goes, and here come the last of the interceptors, still trying to pick out as many of these tanks as he can. Going to get a few more, and it looks like the Goliaths now coming back into the game as well, and are going to pick off tons of interceptors. Just one tank left, and Jangbi going to GG here as he's running out of money, running out of interceptors. So unfortunately here, Jangbi going to fall to Flash after he really had a huge lead after he held off Flash's initial push. Jangbi basically took no damage and took out a ton of Flash's troops, and Jangbi not able to capitalize, not able to get his Reavers into play and his Dragoons into play quick enough to punish Flash. And then Jangbi going carriers, which, I mean, carriers are good on that map. There's so many ridges that carriers are good on that map, but when Flash scans your carriers early before you even really start producing them, that's always a problem, especially when he's on 3 bases and macroing well. So Flash gets the win in the first game here in the OSL quarterfinals, the round of 8. The next game will be on La Mancha, I believe. Is that right? No, Pathfinder. Pathfinder will be game 2, and if Jangbi wins that, there will be a game 3 later on either La Mancha or Gladiator. I don't know if they've released it, but I haven't seen what map is going to be map 3. So look forward to sets 2 and 3, which will come after whenever they're played, and hopefully I'll be able to keep doing more commentaries. I'm sorry it's been about a month since I came out with anything, but I will also do Pro League Grand Finals. I will definitely do Pro League Grand Finals once they're played next week, and release those as well in VOD form. So anyways, guys, GG's. Unfortunately, Jangbi unable to get a victory here, but there's always another day. There is game 2 on Pathfinder, so here's hoping that Jangbi can win that game and give us an entertaining set 3.